Etapu, assalamu alaikum, namaste, Haroon Nefer. This is Qesankh Keparu with another exciting video for you. And in this video, we want to explore the idea of why Black men have low dating standards. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. If you'd like to know more about my spiritual teachings, I do have free ebooks. You can scroll down below to one of the 4 email links or ebook links. Click on them, download the ebook today. It's absolutely free and start reading. If that's not enough, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month. It's up to you. You can cancel at any time and you'll get exclusive videos on the esoteric, on the spiritual, videos on how to meditate, how to put together a magical amulet, how to contact the ancestors, how to do astral projection, and so much more. So become a Patreon supporter today. Last but not least, share this video with family and friends so we can get the revolution started. So Haroon Nefer, namaste, grand rising. There's this mythos or myth going around which goes like this: Black men are the garbage collectors of the dating world. And what they mean by that is Black men basically have low standards when it comes to selecting mates. Now, I didn't give this much credence. It's not something I really thought about a lot until I had several incidences that occurred. Now in this video, I want you to understand, I'm not picking on Black men. I'm not picking on Black women. I'm not picking on anybody. I'm just giving you my experience and the experience of people who are close to me and how they support this point. I had a friend who was telling me about this woman he was dating. I guess she's from the islands or what have you, and she was a dermatologist, had a college degree, and he was going to ask her to marry him. And he wanted me to meet her, and I was like, great, cool. So he tried to set the meeting up a number of times and it failed. And one final time we met on 86th Street in New York to have lunch. And I saw him approaching me on the street with her. And to my shock and amazement, I could not believe this is the woman he was talking about, because he had told me that her parents didn't approve of him. And he's also college educated and he has his own business. And that they were trying to talk her out of marrying him. Which is, I don't understand, because, my friend was a good guy and I think any woman would be proud to have him. But when I saw this woman, my head spinned around. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. She was kind of like this short, petite woman, dark-skinned Black woman. Not that that matters. But right on her nose was the biggest and ugliest, to me, it looked like a tumor or wart, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it was gross. And I was just like, wait a minute, is this woman the dermatologist, the one that her family did not approve of you when she has a third eye seated on her nose? I wouldn't date her. If her family didn't approve of me and she's walking around with that wicked witch mole, I don't even know how you would kiss her. Now, I'm not being superficial. I'm just responding to, what his parents are saying, that she's too good for him. I'm like, I don't think so. Not with that mole. It's perplexing. Then I recalled other friends of mine, all, young Black men, successful. One brother who I knew well from Queens, was telling me about all these women he slept with, how he was a Mac daddy. Brothers like to brag about that. I went over to his house, and he pulled out this, this is way back in the day, this photo album when they used to have these. And he plopped it in my lap. And I opened it and looked through it. And in this photo album was a bunch of photos of women who were naked that he was, and you can see him in some of the photos, he was, engaged in sexual activity with. But here was the thing. The women were obese, overweight, really, really obese, and not attractive at all. And when I mean not attractive at all, I mean, even if they were to lose that weight, they wouldn't be attractive. You see some women who, are heavy set, obese, but they got a cute face. And you say, man, if you really work out and go to the gym, you would look really great. All these women, 100% were hugely overweight, to the point of where you could see in between their legs had gotten darker because their thighs were rubbing up against one another. And this is the Mac player who was talking about these women he slept with. Then another friend who was telling me about this woman he was dating, and he ended up having a baby with her. But she was very argumentative, and he didn't know if the relationship would work out. But eventually, like I said, they got together and had a baby. And I asked to meet her, and he was always like avoided it. And finally, I got to meet her, and I was in shock. Not only was she very argumentative and had a bad attitude, but she was but ugly. I'm sorry. And this brother was a handsome brother. 6 feet, 6 abs. 6-pack, 6-pack. So it began to dawn on me that this rumor has been true. And as I was counseling brothers in their relationships, I found out that many were in relationships with subpar women and refused to get out of the relationship no matter how bad the woman was. I was like, look, brother, obviously she doesn't appreciate you. She has a bad attitude. I think she has mental health issues. Why are you unwilling to move on? Hence, the saying, black men are the garbage collectors of the dating world. Low standards. Seriously low standards. This is why when white women get into a relationship with a black man, it usually prospers because black men in relationships usually don't ask for much. They just want peace in their lives because a lot of them have been in abusive relationships with black women. So when white women get into a relationship with a black man, it's like they're in heaven because the black man is not coming from that traditional patriarchy perspective where he's demanding upon her. And he truly establishes a 50-50 relationship. The problem is that these black men are suffering from low self-esteem and they don't see the value that they have inherently. And I try to communicate that to them, but a lot of them don't want to listen. Because in their mind, they think they're Mac daddies dating a 400-pound woman. And because a certain segment of black women, 80% who are 80% are overweight, want to force black men to date them, even though they're obese. And they have outrageous standards. The guy has to be at least 6 feet, 6-pack, makes 6 figures, and tolerates her. Black men don't see the worth within themselves. And this is because you're living in a world of white supremacy, a world that has beaten you down. In fact, every night the media does stories showcasing Black men as thugs, drug dealers, criminals. This has a cumulative effect upon your psyche. How are you supposed to feel good about yourself when the image that you see is one where you are the world's problem? But that's still no excuse for you to be the garbage collector of the dating world. You have value. You were the first man. When we speak about Adam, we're talking about you, Black man. When we speak about Eve, we're talking about you, Black woman. But yet, Black men, you don't see the value that you bring to the table. So you don't require anything of the woman that you're courting. You tolerate her abusive behavior. You let her verbally beat you down. And then you'll come to a dating coach or therapist and say, what am I doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. The only thing that you're doing wrong is you're not going for better. And you deserve better. But you don't think that you can get better. You don't. When I began my journey to spiritual ascension, one of the things I said was, I want a woman who is, I hate to use the number system, but a 10, looks wise, and whose personality is supportive, loving, catering to my needs, understanding, meek, knows her position in the relationship. But you see, society, they put out these images like you, Lizzo, to make you think that you don't deserve anything better than Lizzo, the whale. So consequently, you allow yourself to be trapped in that type of relationship. Now, if people are saying, "Oh, you're superficial," what's wrong with her being 400, 500 pounds? Well, there's health issues that come along with that. There's also problems with the ability to have children. And if you're not willing to go to the gym to take care of yourself health-wise, then you don't deserve a mate. All other races of women, when they see themselves becoming obese, they head right to that gym. Go to the gym and look what you'll see. You'll see Latinas, you'll see white women. But it's almost like kryptonite to Black women. And then they want to turn around and say, I don't want no short guy. I don't want a short king. And Black men are okay with those standards. They're like, okay, you can get better, but you have to become better. You have to have objectives in your life. You have to understand that you are a God. You are a God man, and you should be searching for your God woman. And together you will both take over the world. But you see, these friends that I had, when I began my journey and I had the standards and I met those standards, I achieved that. They got jealous. They got upset. Because we know we have a lot of that in the Black community, that jealousy. And then these friends who I thought were friends were looking to hook up with my girl. Instead of going out there and getting into some self-help development program or hiring a dating coach, they just said, "Oh, I'll just try to hook up with Qesankh's girl," because they were too afraid to go out there and put themselves out there. Because, like it or not, and I'm speaking honestly, and I'm not trying to put down anybody, Black men have been raised to be cowards. It's not your fault. We have been raised to be cowards, and we refuse to look at it. Now, many men can identify what I'm about to say. You were ever at a social event and you see a nice, pretty girl, and you go up to talk to her, and the minute you go up to talk to her, all the other guys at the venue start to look at you, and they may even start walking in your direction or come up to you and start talking to that same girl. Number one is jealousy, and number two, if they see you talking to her, then they think, "Oh, I can talk to her too," because she's easy to talk to. Instead of them going and finding their own girl and talking to her, they want to move in on the one you're talking to. Black men, Black kings, stop hooking up with subpar women. There are so many beautiful women out there, externally and internally. There's enough to go around, but you're picking from the bottom of the barrel. And then you've done a Jedi mind trick on yourself to make you think you're a player. Oh, one guy told me he slept with 100 women. I said, yeah, but I don't believe that, for one. But and also, there are probably 100 fat women. And lo and behold, I was right. I found out. And many of these men, I've offered to coach them, and their egos won't allow it. They're like, "No thanks, I don't need any help." The egos won't allow it. I'm like, dude, just give me 3 months and I'll transform you. 3 months of hardcore training and I will transform you. No. I don't need it. I don't need it. That's a deficiency in your character. Listen, you got to be the best. You're facing a world that does not want you on this planet. Whether you are Black, Indian, Asian, Latin, the world does not want you. You have an oligarchy of white supremacists sitting on the throne of the planet, concocting schemes to wipe you off the planet because they know that your seed is a dominant seed. That if you have a baby with a white woman, that baby's a Black baby, no matter what. And they know, as Francis Cress Welsing told us, they face genetic annihilation. This is why back in the 50s and 60s, they would hang Black men and castrate them. This is why the basis of the 1920s film King Kong was about a Black ape, Black man having a relationship with a white woman and them having to kill this ape. Metaphor. They're trying to communicate to their people through metaphor and the medium of film to stay away from Black men and white women. This is why when you go back into the 60s, when Black male groups would woo white women, and white women would fall in love with these black men and meet them backstage and have sex with them, that it got so bad that they told the record companies to put white guys on the cover of the albums, because they didn't want white women listening to nigger music. And consequently, hooking up and having sex with these black men. Sammy Davis Jr. fell in love with a white woman, and the head of the studio, she's a white actress, I forgot her name, but the head of the studio at that time said, no way, he's not going to marry that white woman. And because he had mob ties, told the mob to take care of this. The mob went to Sammy Davis Jr. and said, you better end your relationship with this white woman, and you better marry a black woman, or you're going to end up at the bottom of the ocean. You're going to end up as fish food. So Sammy Davis ended his relationship with the white actress, married a black woman, but that was just for stage purposes, and the mob left him alone. And she was a fine woman too. I bet that bothered them. But this is symptomatic of a greater problem with black men. The inability to go for more, to challenge the status quo, to see worth and value within yourself apart from what society tells you. You got to ignore the propaganda. See, these idiots in the black national movement, because they're all idiots, talking about black men should only hook up with black women. Well, you can say that, but the reality is, when I go out to social events, to clubs, to networking events, wherever, I'm seeing a lot of interracial relationships. So what you're talking about is not reflective of reality. Reality is people are hooking up regardless of race. Because you shouldn't be hooking up with somebody just because they're a color. You should be hooking up with someone because they love you. They care about you. Oh, man, thank you. The actress is Kim Novak. Thank you so much. Yeah, Sammy Davis and Kim Novak. Thank you so much. Yeah, he was going to marry Kim Novak. They were in love. Very beautiful woman. But the head of the studio said, no, this doesn't look good for the studio for a black man to be, even though Sammy Davis was rich and famous, they were not going to allow him to marry Kim Novak. See, what you don't realize is that God is good. You see, where men are visual creatures, meaning we look at a woman's body, because in looking at her body, we're actually kind of subconsciously judging her for mating purposes. Bigger breasts means she has enough milk to nurture the baby. Bigger hips means that she can carry the baby to term. But women look at the character, the content of a man, not so much his looks. Because that determines if he's an alpha or a beta. Didn't matter that Sammy Davis was a short guy. Kim liked him no matter what. Because there had to be something within his character that appealed to her. Yep, that's correct. He was into Judaism. So you black nationalists can say all you want about who black men and women should hook up with, but reality is already telling you it's a done deal. Go back and look at Loving versus Virginia. Black woman was marrying a white man. Had to go to the Supreme Court. because it was against the law at that time for interracial marriages. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be in an interracial relationship. What I'm saying is you need to be with somebody who loves and respects you. And if that's a Black woman, heck, great, more power to you. But make sure that she loves you as much as you love her. And that's something that's really missing from our modern day relationships, is that notion of love. I used to tell Black men, you got to stop commenting on women's booty. Oh, yeah, she was beautiful and she had a fat ass. I said, you need to stop that. It's going to backfire because you're perpetuating something and you're having these unrealistic standards of Black women. Now you got Black women going overseas and getting the BBLs, even though they don't even need them. They're perfect the way they are. Black women, you don't need them. You're beautiful the way you are. But because you have Black men running around talking about booties, Black women hear that and they're thinking they have to have a booty. A big booty, I mean. I told them, stop commenting on that. Stop saying that. Because the mate that you want, there's no criteria that says she has to have a big booty. Big booty doesn't mean she's going to love you. Big booty doesn't mean that she's going to support you. So please, look at both her outer beauty and her inner beauty. And don't worry, women, I'm going to make a video for you too as well. But I wanted just to really communicate to Black men that you don't have to settle for less. There are Black women out there who have the full package. And you deserve to be with them. But you got to fix yourself first. You got to get rid of that thought in your back of your mind, because that's where it is. It's in the back of your mind. It may not be front and center of your mind, but it's in the back of your mind that you don't deserve that you're not worthy of that. We are damaged people through the racism. We are damaged. And we try to proceed like everything's okay. So Black men take on this persona of swag and that I got it all. And you don't. It's a facade. You don't. It was interesting. I had a friend from Ireland, and we were talking, and he was saying to me that whenever he thinks of Black men, he always thinks about how cool they are, how cool they dress. And I was like, wow, really? He goes, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's just the outer appearances, you know? Look deeper than that, and you'll see there's some issues. And Black women fall for that. They see a brother with swag, and that's the one they want, even though he may not be good for them. We have made our mating choices based on very superficial stuff. Low level stuff. It's sad. It is sad. And because white supremacy have concocted a plan and an agenda to separate us from our true mates, the women we should be with, they have intervened and messed up our relationships. White supremacy. Sucker Nefer Tara says, Atepu, powerful one. Dick Gregory said, the bigger the booty, the more shit you have to deal with. Ah, that's true. That is true. That is absolutely true. Because she has satellites. You know what satellites are? Guys that she has put in the friend zone, and they're friends with benefits. Because every guy's trying to hit on her because she has a big booty. Try and see the value in yourself. I know it's hard, but God made you perfect. Try and see the value within yourself as the first man, as the archetype for all men. Regardless of what this white man has told you, you were the first and you will be the last. We are the original humans. If we have swag, it's natural. Let me comment on that statement. That's a very good statement, because let's say, there's these warriors in Africa, the Maasai warriors, right? And these guys are badass. They're very tall, thin. They walk around with these spears. You know who they hunt? They hunt lions. The king of the jungle, lions. And they have carried on their tradition for so long that they've been very successful in their hunts. But the one thing that you won't see about them, they have a very casual way about them. Oh, hello there, brother. We're going to hunt lions today. Would you like to join us? No. But the one thing you won't see about them is any type of braggadocious attitude. They're just very calm and cool about it. We're going to hunt lions. Yeah, we'll probably catch one today and eat it. Meanwhile, we're walking around talking about we're players from the Himalaya. Just be your authentic self. And yes, it's natural. We have that natural swag. You're right. But I want you to have that swag from the right perspective of having value in yourself. Meaning, I don't want you to lean on the swag to get you what you want in life. Because you automatically have it all. You're intelligent. You're brave. You're fearless. You just got to awaken to that fact. They have told Black women, the white supremacists, they have taught them to devalue Black men. To the point of where they, as Shahrazad Ali said, Black women think they're smarter than Black men. That's all part of that white supremacist plan to cause a gender divide. Because they know if Black women and Black men get together, all hell is going to break loose. If we come together, it's over. There she wrote. Fat lady's going to sing. It's over for white supremacy. But in order for that to happen, Black men, you have got to step up. You're falling short because you're refusing to address these fundamental issues and these flaws within your character of settling for less, of being the garbage collector of the dating world. Please honor yourself and your ancestors. By understanding that you are God man and you deserve a God woman, not some woman that's going to carry you through hell the rest of your life. Please. If you get an opportunity, please donate to this channel. Your donations would be greatly appreciated. This is Qesankh Keperu, son of Ba'at and Tehuti. My aunt is the beautiful goddess Heteru. Until my next video, Amun Ra.